stay locked in. Left, right, left, right. Moving forward on the glory.
Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. New studio. I'm going to keep adding to it. Let's get this money. Week 11 coming up. First game, we got the New England Patriots at the Atlanta Falcons. The Pats are minus 6.5. I'm digging my trench. No, I'm not going there. I'm going New England to win in the cover. New England's been burning me all year. And when Matt Jones is putting up over 300 yards against good opposition, that's where I throw in the towel. That's where I have to eat crow and admit that the hoodie Bill Belichick has his team ready to strike, and I don't see a letdown against Atlanta. We saw how Atlanta played last week. We expected a lot from them. They just did not show up, but that's the limitations of Atlanta. They're too inconsistent. Say what you want about the Patriots. I don't love the roster. I don't love the talent. I don't like the verb on that team. But one thing we know about the Patriots is they're consistent. Atlanta isn't. I'm going New England minus 6.5. to win in the cover. It's a bit too much on a Thursday night, but that's what we're working with. Next game, we got Detroit at the Cleveland Browns. Detroit is plus 10. I got Cleveland to win in the cover, and we saw what happened against the Patriots last week, and it was absolutely pathetic. Now Baker's blaming coaches. That was Baker's fault. When he threw that pick six, that changed the game. Luckily, you get Detroit. If you want to get right, if you're struggling, if you're on a cold streak, you want to see Jared Goff coming to town. You want to see that Lions powder blue coming to town. That's how you get right. And you guys know I don't like Browns minus 10, especially with the Browns. But at home against a really bad team, and the Lions didn't prove anything against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh really took a bad break with the last-minute Big Ben COVID test. That's not going to happen again. And even if Baker Mayfield is out of this game, Case Keenum gives them a better chance to win. Browns win and cover. Next game, we got the San Francisco 49ers at the Jacksonville Jags. San Fran is minus 6.5. I got the Jags to cover, San Fran to win. And this isn't the philosophy people like. I always pick the Jags to cover, and they seem to be covering. And when I'm looking at the Jags, they very well could have won that game against the Colts. Carson Wentz was trying to give it to him. Lawrence is still a bit banged up, but I think he'll get better this week. I think he'll move the ball. And for San Fran, I think they win, but I don't think this is going to be easy. I don't think they're going to be running through the Rams like that. And also, the Rams didn't put forth a good game. I give credit to the 49ers. I've always liked their roster and coach, but I don't see this 49ers thing swinging up like people think. It's one game, a big win against the Rams, but sometimes we got to take it with a grain of salt. San Fran to cover, Jags to win. Next game, we got the Indianapolis Colts at the Buffalo Bills. Bills are minus 7. Money. I got the Bills to win in the cover. This is a borderline money pick. This isn't one that I'm running to the bank and throwing the kids' college fund on, but this is a game I like. I feel like the Colts are an overrated team. And Carson Wentz, he hasn't impressed me this year. That Jacksonville film speaks for itself. You guys can go watch it, but there are other evidences in the drawer. We know that. We can pull out a lot against the Colts. And this Colts defense never reached full potential. It's only average. They spent a ton of money, and spending a ton of money won't stop Josh Allen and these Bills. If the Bills come in focused, hungry, I think they'll get into the 30s. I just can't see the Colts getting more than 20, 23 points. I like the Bills minus 7 to win in the cover. Borderline money pick. Next game, we got the Miami Dolphins, the Fins, at the New York Jets. Miami's minus 3. Money. Miami keeps making us money. And it's not sexy. It's not in vogue, but Miami keeps making us money. I'll repeat it. And that's one thing we need to remember. You know, knowing this league, this is the week where the Jets start playing good. This is the week where the Jets don't allow 40 points on defense. But I'm not letting that crazy stuff get in my head. I think Miami's peaking. I told you that 2 weeks ago. Now, peaking for Miami isn't pushing to the playoffs or anything crazy, but I still believe Miami is peaking. I think Miami plays very good defensively, but the matchup to watch this game is Miami's offense versus the Jets' defense. The Jets' defense can't stop anyone. And now that Tua is getting a little bit of a run game, they got the play action working. Tua will turn it over, but against the Jets, it shouldn't hurt too much. Miami to win the cover. I absolutely love this one. It's one of those ones where I'm like, this must be a mistake on the line. It's one of those ones where it's almost too good to be true. Make sure you check the Patreon page for more updates, but I'm pretty sure it will be there. Next game, we got the Washington No-Names at the Carolina Panthers. Carolina is minus 3.5. I got Carolina to win in the cover. I absolutely love the Cam Newton acquisition, and I'm going to gamble on something else. I think Cam Newton starts this week. Credit to Walker coming in and at least throwing the ball down the field. When you play this game with cojones, you get rewarded. You do. When you play this game like Sam Darnold, checking it down, you don't get rewarded, and these guys are too good. They'll adjust. This Washington defense is getting better, and that big win against Tampa Bay last week will linger in people's minds. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm going to make this game rather simple for y'all. If Cam Newton starts, the Panthers win. Next game, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Chicago Bears. The Bears! Chicago +6. Money, 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 money. I got Chicago with the 6 to cover. And I'm thinking about picking them in an upset. Chicago to win in the cover. Listen, picking Chicago on the money line might be a little bit greedy for me. I completely get it. But I'm going with the +6. And let me emphasize why. The Chicago defense is a pretty good defense. I've been saying it all year. And this Ravens offense doesn't have rhythm, and it is missing a little bit of gusto. I mean, they got so many playmakers, but where are the big chunk plays? And we saw what happened last week against Miami. Miami sent 8 7-man blitzes, zone blitzes all game. I told you guys what would happen. And yet they couldn't hit a deep ball. Everything was man-to-man. Like, seriously. The Dolphins looked like the 86 Bears against the Ravens. That's not a good omen because this Chicago Bears defense is better than the Dolphins. I'm really curious to see how Fields continues to develop. I want to see how he gets in rhythm. Really, the only thing that can harm this team is the lack of run game. I think Chicago runs it pretty decent against the Ravens. That's why I absolutely love this +6 in Soldier Field. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Go to my Patreon page, only $5 a month. Let's get this money. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Next game, we got the New Orleans Saints at the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly is minus 1.5. This is a borderline money pick. I got Philly to win in the cover. I don't like the Saints quarterback situation. Everything else on this team is flowing. Good offensive line, physical offensive line, physical defensive line, nasty front seven, a secondary that plays aggressive and ball hogs. But quarterback, man, this is a quarterback-driven league. I don't like throwing cliches here, and we've won a lot of money with the Saints, but I think it's time to get off. I mean, is Taysom Hill and Simeon going to make more big plays than Hurts? And, you know, we got a lot of Hurts haters, and I understand. I get it. I'm not the biggest Hurts guy. But one thing I say when I pick the Eagles, I usually say Hurts will make more chunk plays than the opposing quarterback. Hurts isn't an accurate passer, but he has 3 or 4 magical plays in him a game. And with the Eagles defense playing better as the year goes on, I don't see why they can't win this. They'll have to make a mistake, or Nick Sirianni will have to do something stupid. We've seen him do it before. But Eagles to win in the cover. Next game, we got the Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are minus 10. I got the Titans to win in the cover. This is the type of game throughout the Mike Vrabel era that the Titans would find a way to lose. Let's be realistic about it. Let's call a spade a spade. But I don't think that Cinderella's going out tonight, as in the Houston Texans. I don't think Cinderella's going to be doing the salsa or meeting the man of her dreams. I think the Titans come in here, and I think they come in here with a blowout. Now, Tyrod Taylor does add a little bit more to the Houston Texans, but this is still the worst roster in the league. Titans to win the cover, Titans minus 10. I really like the creativity I'm seeing on this Titans offense. And whenever you're able to get creativity and you got playmakers, that helps. And I think the Titans will. The Titans defense is playing good. I'm not as high on that as everyone else, but I really do like the creativity on offense. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers. Rodgers at the Minnesota Vikings. Green Bay minus 2.5. I got Green Bay to win in the cover against my Minnesota Vikings. I don't know what to make of my Minnesota Vikings beating Herbert and the Chargers last week. Yes, Herbert didn't play well, but Harrison Smith was out, Anthony Barr was out, other defensive starters were out. So I understand why that gives people a cause for pause. Imagine what Minnesota will do with all these guys coming back from COVID. But not so fast, my friend. Green Bay wins and covers. This Green Bay team is the best Green Bay team I've seen in the last 6-7 years. And I've been highly critical of this franchise. I've been highly critical of them even when they're 13-3, 12-4 in years previous. I'm critical of Matt LaFleur. But I'm telling you, this Packers defense is actually helping Aaron the Game Rodgers for the first time. Yes, against Seattle, Aaron did look a little bit rusty, but he got it done, and they got the run game going. I think the X factor in this game is A.J. Dillon. The Vikings struggle with big physical running backs. And for me, I'd rather go with Dillon than Jones at running back. And we see the Packers making that transition and metamorphosis. The Packers just look like a more physical team this year. My issue with them in previous years, they were just way too finesse for me. Way too finesse, too soft. It seems like this Packers team has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And maybe Aaron Rodgers turning heel has something to do with it. I got the Packers to win in the cover against my Minnesota Vikings. Next game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are minus 1. I went back and forth on this one all day. I'm back on the Vegas train, Vegas to win in the cover. I've been off it the last 2 weeks, and I don't regret any of that, obviously, with the results. But we're back on the Vegas bandwagon. And with Cincinnati, I have some questions. Their defense does play well, but I am curious what their offense will do this game because I think the Raiders' offense will respond. Missing Henry Ruggs, I told you, was a death blow. We can talk about what happened on the road, but I wanted to talk about what happened on the field, and the Raiders don't have another dog to replace him. But I think this is a low-scoring game. I think this game comes down to who runs the rock better. And if Josh Jacobs is healthy, if Josh Jacobs is ready to go, that's Vegas for me. I think home field advantage helps this game. I think Cincinnati finds a way to lose this one. Next game, we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. Zona minus 3. I got Zona to win in the cover. This might move in a money pick as the week goes on. Of course, we need to evaluate the situation of Kyler Murray. Of course, we need to evaluate the motivation level of the Arizona Cardinals. The Seattle Seahawks team isn't going down without a punch or two. The Seattle Seahawks team isn't going down without a fight. Russell America Wilson is better than that, and I think he will make this game close. But even with that being said, I think Arizona pulls away late. I just think Arizona has too much firepower. Now, if it's raining, if it's really windy, if it's 35 degrees and it's hailing out, yeah, that favors the Seattle Seahawks. But we'll see what the weather is when it gets closer. But if it's even decent playing conditions, Murray's going to whip this thing. He's going to whip work all over the field against a Seattle defense that just simply isn't good enough, and it hasn't been good enough in some years. And then you also look at Cliff Kingsbury against Pete Carroll. Let's look at this. Let's look at this matchup. I think Pete Carroll is past it, and we've had people call in the show and say that. I've been saying it for 2 or 3 years. He really is past it, and when you look at this Cliff Kingsbury matchup versus Pete Carroll, I think Cliff Kingsbury has his team more ready to play, and I just have to say that Colt McCoy win a few weeks back against the 49ers certainly looks a lot better, right? Next game and last game of the weekend, Monday Night Football. We got the Dallas Cowboys at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are -2. Money, money, money. Money. Chiefs to win in the cover. You guys got on me. You guys sent hate messages when I picked the Chiefs over the Raiders. Sent hate messages to me. Some people did. Some people trusted me and rided with me and understood my instincts. It's the same instincts here. I don't think Dallas is all that good. I think Dallas is a little bit of an admiration. Even if we throw that Denver Broncos game in the trash bin, I still think the Cowboys season is a bit in an admiration. Yes, they're going to compete. Yes, they're not easy to beat. But I think this Chiefs team's getting ready, man. This Chiefs defense has played better the last 3 weeks, and it helped out Mahomes. We saw Mahomes get into a groove against the Raiders, and we're seeing Andy Reid use more screen passes, more quick passes, more running the rock. If KC runs this rock at least 40% of the time, 35% of the time, just a little bit of balance, they will absolutely tear to shreds this Dallas defense. This Dallas defense is starting to get exposed. They play hard. They play with heart. They play with gusto. That's why this Dallas defense is able to survive. But I think at a certain point, KC is going to hit on all cylinders, and we saw it last week. I think it continues. Sometimes we forget November is when you want your team to be peaking. There's a reason guys like Bill, the Hoodie Belichick, and Andy Big Red Reid win games in November and December, because they know that's when you need to peak. I think the Chiefs are peaking. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share your videos. Make sure you go to my Patreon. Patreon.com/Lawson Show. $5 a month. I post every bet I make there. Let's get this money. Smash that like button.